All right, I'm going to call this work session back to order. Anything further to discuss? Any more input, guys? Mr. Bradner, anything? Do you have a motion to adjourn work session?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Ms. Nance.
Smith? Yes. Gustafson?
Yes.
Ramsey?
Yes.
Wynn?
Yes.
Brabner?
Yes.
Mayor Bass?
Yes, work session is adjourned. Mr. Weaver, are we good back there? All right, I'd like to call our regularly scheduled council meeting to order for June 15th, 2026. Roll call, Ms. Nance.
Smith?
Here.
Gustafson?
Here.
Ramsey?
Here.
Wynn?
Here.
Brabner?
Here.
Mayor Bass?
Here. Ms. Bradner, would you lead us tonight in the invocation and pledge of allegiance?
Most gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for this day and thank you for loving us. And thank you for the opportunity to serve the citizens of the city of Spanish Fort. We welcome all the young people here tonight. Some are on their way in for junior city council, and some we want to thank for their service in the past. And we also get to welcome a new police officer. We wish that you would give all of us guidance and wisdom as we go through the business of the city. Also want to thank you for having our country here for almost 250 years as we begin to celebrate that. Thank you for all the blessings you pour upon us day in and day out. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Brabner. Has everyone had a chance to look over the minutes from previous meetings, regular work session June 1st, and also the regular meeting on June 1st? Any changes to those minutes? Do you have a motion to approve the minutes from the prior work sessions, June 1st, 2026?
Motion to approve the minutes. Second.
Roll call, Ms. Nance.
Smith?
Yes.
Gustafson?
Yes.
Ramsey?
Yes.
Wynn?
Yes.
Brabner?
Yes.
Mayor Bass?
Yes, the minutes stand approved as written. Reports from committees and officers tonight. Ms. Nance, anything to report?
No
Ms.
report.
Mr. Connor, any
No.
reports?
No further report from the work session.
All right. Chief Barber?
No report, Mayor.
Chief Few, any reports tonight?
I just want to report that we had our summer camp last week, and it was a tremendous success. We appreciate all of our helpers that helped us to put that thing on, but it was a good week for the kids.
All right. Thank you, Chief Few. Mr. Burrows, anything from Public Works?
No report, Mayor.
Mr. Weaver, anything from Parks? Mr. Smith, anything from Planning Commission?
Yes, sir. On June 8th, the Planning Commission met, and there were two agenda items that were approved. One was a subdivision plat for Cambron, where we combined two lots into one. Both were R1, and the new lot that was created is also R1. Also, a similar plat approval for what's called the Kirby subdivision, just east of Old Highway 31, just east of I-10 Commerce, where we combined 4 lots into 2. And then finally, there was a rezoning request to rezone from an R1 to an R4 on Douglas, and the Planning Commission forwards a positive recommendation for that rezoning to the City Council.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Gustafson, anything tonight from Junior Council?
Nope, other than the fact that we're going to be honoring some of them. I see some of them already out in the crowd, that we're going to be honoring their services. They're going out, but yet tonight we also get to usher in the new ones. And it's been a really good program exposing high school students to the city government, transitioning to county government, and then to state government. So they get to really dive into it to see how it works. So anyway, proud of their program, and I'm glad to see some of them here tonight.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gustafson. Mr. Connors, Bonnet?
Mayor, I didn't bring this up earlier, but I think it's worth noting. The Planning Commission normally has its regularly scheduled work session the last Monday of each month. It was discussed at the last meeting because of some business that some applicants need to have, that meeting would be moved to June 22nd at 6 o'clock p.m. in order to allow for the review of a site plan. There's also a proposed amendment to the sign ordinance that will be reviewed at that public hearing that night. And so I just wanted to make that announcement. I forgot to bring that up earlier. And so there'll be a special Planning Commission meeting at 6 o'clock p.m. followed by a Planning Commission work session in lieu of the end of the month meeting on June 22nd.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Connor. Ms. Bradner, anything from the 3 Mill Commission tonight?
I'm Joanne Theodore, 6th grade teacher at Spanish Fort Elementary School. I teach social studies, and last year we were able to do a tremendous activity with our students that was paid for through the 3 Mill Fund, in which a group came out called the Hovercraft Project. The Hovercraft Project is a STEAM-based project that goes around to local schools and does an all-day training with the students. This project was so tremendous that our students came away from it wanting to do more, wanting to learn more about STEAM and all the activities that we did. The group that comes out and does the project really encourages the students to build confidence, to build relationships, and build their knowledge of STEAM. So during the project, the students are constructing a hovercraft that is a rideable hovercraft by the end of the day, but they have to go through a process of working together. It's team building, it's interactive, and it also deals with letting students fail. There are some times when the hovercrafts would not work, and the students learn from all this process. The money that we received from 3 Mill made this possible. The teachers and the students, the administrators, and also we had visitors to come in, saw this project and thought it was the best project that we have done for 6th grade. And we are so excited to be able to do the project each year.
The Hovercraft project, I can say, is probably one of the most exciting things that the kids get to do. It's looked forward to every single year. The 3 Mill vote will come back up in a year or two. So we're playing these messages to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to see the different activities, the different learning tools and things that the students are able to take advantage of because of this additional money that's poured into them. So we hope that you will see the value that your 3 Mill is adding to these kids' education. And the tag phrase is, 3 Mill matters.
Thank you, Ms. Bradner. I'm excited to get some new videos, too. We talked at the last 3 Mill Commission about that. I know the school board, some of their social media and marketing folks are helping with that. It just made me laugh. Ms. Theodore retired, I think, 2 summers ago now. So she's a neighbor of my parents. So she was a great teacher, and my daughter loved being in her class. So be glad to get some of those new videos with some of the new exciting things they've done the last few years.
Well, they're also working on some videos with statistics to show how the grades have increased since we've started pouring this money into our schools.
Awesome. Thank you, Ms. Bradner. We've come to the part of the meeting tonight for public participation. Just so you're aware, there are several public hearings on the agenda tonight. This will not concern those, but if you do have something to bring to the council, we invite you to come to the microphone. Just state your name. You'll have 3 minutes to state your case, and we'll move on from there. So we'll open it now to public participation. Would you press the green button on there? There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
My name is Lori Ford, and I'm the president of the High Point Place HOA in Spanish Fort. Our HOA, or our subdivision, is just west of the community center. If you come out here, look right, you'll see us. We have 49 homes in that community, And at our most recent annual HOA meeting, some of the homeowners raised several ongoing concerns about the safety, infrastructure, and overall quality of life within our community. I dropped this letter off, I think, on 5/1. Unfortunately, I think it got lost. I think there's been a change in the clerk. But the new clerk was very gracious and invited me to the meeting. Just wanted to get some updates on parking in the cul-de-sacs and on the streets. We wanted to find out if the city could assist us in clarifying the applicable street parking regulations and advise on whether we could put some no parking signage installed in our 2 cul-de-sacs. We think it's a safety hazard, particularly if there's an emergency. So we're not really sure. We've looked at the parking rules, but we're not really sure what we can and can't do. So we'd like some advice going forward. The second item was there's a noticeable erosion problem behind the fence that separates the west side of our community from the Spanish Fort Elementary School and around the detention area off of Highway 31. The erosion area appears to be worsening over time and may require evaluation and remediation to prevent further damage. The third item was Highway 31 road noise buffers. If you take a look out here to the right, you'll see that there's some shrubs and some trees there, but apparently homeowners recall that the City of Spanish Fort and the Alabama Department of Transportation previously agreed to install landscaping buffers to mitigate road noise from the Highway 31 expansion. Originally, short trees were planted on both the east and west sides of the roadway, but on the east side, the trees, I guess, died, and they've been planting new shrubs, and unfortunately, it's not reducing the noise. So we'd like some assistance on that as well. And then the last one was there's been some work done out here on 31, and apparently it is pushing water into the entrance of our community. And so we would greatly appreciate it if you guys could take a look at that and see if it could be remediated. That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ford. Mr. Burrows, I think 2 of those we could probably look into. The erosion, I don't know if that's something due to the construction of New Spanish Fort Elementary, but we can look at that around the boxes, and then obviously the water there on the road. I think some of the landscaping stuff was done several years ago prior to my time, so I'll defer. Mr. Connor, I don't know from an ALDOT standpoint if there's something we can do or conversation with them about anything that died potentially, what that looks like.
Based on what we discussed in the work session, that was part of the ALDOT project as part of their right-of-way. They planted trees, and I don't know why, you said they died, but instead of going back, they planted shrubs, as I understand.
They're very short shrubs, and
okay.
they don't block the noise.
And I can't imagine that would do much in noise reduction. So certainly, they're in charge of the rights-of-way, and I know at certain times they dictate, especially in the medians, what type of trees you can have because they have to be breakaway in order to avoid accidents. But in that area up against the fence, I can't imagine that that's an overarching concern. But so I think we could reach out to ALDOT and ask them if they could reconsider what they've done there. There may be some other type of tree that maybe doesn't spread out as much, like an evergreen that grows taller that might work. I don't know. But we can certainly ask for them to help us with that in that way. The other thing that I heard was no parking signs in the cul-de-sac.
Yes, sir.
I believe those are streets that are not private streets. They're maintained by the city. So any signage would be required to be placed there by the city. And we do have a parking and sign ordinance that once it's marked or has signs erected, if the council was to feel comfortable doing that, then that would give the police an opportunity to write tickets if they were almost parked there illegally.
Okay.
But it does have to be marked with signage in accordance with the ordinance. So that's something that, Mayor, that you could speak about with staff and the chief and make a determination about whether or not that would be appropriate there or not.
Well, she does have a copy of the letter that has everything laid out, so do I need to submit something else? No, they haven't. Okay, thank you
No,
very much, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Ford. I appreciate you bringing that to us. I've told folks, like the bridge on Blakely Way several months ago, Public Works jumped in, helped there. If we don't know about it, it's a lot of those things we can't fix if it's not glaring at us. So I do appreciate you bringing that stuff to us, and we'll get back with you after we've looked at some of those other things. So thank you.
Good evening, Levi Matthews, Spanish Fort Estates. I'm just here, same thing as last time, the noise. Last night, 5 vehicles from 8:45 till about 10 o'clock, boom, boom, boom. And it's happening a lot, especially since school got out. And loud exhaust. It has to be illegal. I'm not an expert on the laws because it says reasonable. I would think if the road is 400 feet away and you could hear them inside your house, that would qualify as unreasonable. But again, I was hoping we can turn the corner on this one and try to get some sleep. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Matthews. Anybody feedback on that one? Chief, anything? I know you guys have increased patrols in the estates, and we've got some other grant stuff to allow extra folks. I don't know if you have any feedback on that, though.
Levi and I speak probably once a week on email. He keeps me advised, and I pass along the information for us to deal with as well.
Okay.
Feel free to park in my driveway at any point in time, and you'll hear them coming up that hill.
Wasn't there some action taken not long ago? Okay.
Well, the good news is, Mr. Matthews, you've got a large law enforcement presence here tonight because we're swearing in a new officer. I think they were already aware of it, but Judge Rose is also here tonight. So if it's someone that appears in front of him, maybe hearing this tonight, Judge Rose, you can swing a heavier hammer next time you have some of those folks there in front of you, because it is an issue, obviously in the estates, probably around Spanish Fort. But again, unless we, as a law enforcement side, see those people in the act of doing it, it's kind of hard for them to enforce it, unfortunately. So I do appreciate you coming, Mr. Matthews. All right, anyone else, public participation?
Hey guys, Thomas Cost. I actually came before you guys, I guess, about 2 months ago. First, I'm in Spanish Fort Estates too, and I agree with the sound thing, kind of a nuisance. Yeah, the parking too, that's outrageous. You got 4 wheels on the street. I mean, we're swerving around these into oncoming traffic because often we can't see over the hills in Spanish Fort. So if somebody could do something about that, that would be good too. But I'm here about the Coyote. I understand you guys are considering right now renewing your contract with USDA. Is that where we are right now?
So we are. It's on the agenda tonight. We will obviously take any comments you have under advisement. We did that, I guess, several months ago when you guys first came. And again, sorry for
about 2 probably. Yeah.
But I think we're open as a council to hear anything else you have to say about the Coyote issue.
Well, I understood there might have been some opposition to it, so I was just kind of hearing in favor of it, and would be glad to debate any of my fellow citizens here on the importance of catching those coyotes.
Well, the last time that it came out to renew the contract, or when we started the contract, there was a lot of opposite. There was really nobody here in favor. There was a lot of people opposed to it. I don't see those people here tonight, but I do appreciate you being here because it is important, I think, to our community that we, control the wild animals. We are on the, we neighbor the forest here.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know, do you guys take a poll of people that are here? How does that work? How do y'all decide in favor or against?
Well, I mean, with public participation, obviously everybody gets a chance to do 3 minutes, then we make a decision, not necessarily always based on what we hear here in the meeting tonight. We do appreciate you coming. Anybody else that wants to speak tonight, either for or against this, we'll be glad to hear from them as well.
So this is something where someone has to come up and talk. You can't just get people to raise their hands. See, I have no idea what everybody's here for. Do y'all have any idea?
I think the majority of people here are for the junior city council stuff tonight. But I mean, I remember you coming and talking to us, and y'all lost a pet and got it on camera of it being mutilated. So I mean, I think it's good. There's a lot of people here tonight. I'd love to hear your story again. I think it's important that message get out.
Is now a good time, or you want me to?
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So if you guys recall, and people who weren't here before, the coyote just it comes from the woods across the street. And I've seen it before, and it came up to our house and took the cat out of the driveway. So it came right up to the house, and you know, I had to break it to my wife, who had the cat for 12 years, 13 actually, who saved the cat in Phoenix from all of its siblings getting snatched by coyotes. And so she moved here, brought the cat, and that's exactly what happened to it. It's not a quick death, I'll tell you that. So I sat there and listened for about a minute and a half as it broke her apart in the driveway, and that's the way these animals are. And once a coyote kind of specializes too, it specializes in what it hunts. And so throughout the estates, you see missing cats posters everywhere, and that's exactly what it's doing. It's going to snatch these cats. So, yeah, I mean, these are our pets. This is important. I mean, yeah, they have a right to live, but, you know, so do we, right? So we're dead in the city in Spanish Fork Estates. We're not out in the woods. This isn't Bay Minette, you know?
Okay.
And this is the second time I brought it to you guys, you know? I mean, just if, and y'all have done nothing wrong. I'm not saying that, right? It's just, in the age of social media, what happens when that dog, you know, attacks a small child who wanders away from the house? Or, you know what I mean? So just, all I can do is bring it to your attention and ask that you do what you can on that. I understand that USDA has put out traps and it's potentially caught, but they're treating them like they're Secret Service or something. I don't know why, but maybe people sabotage the traps or something if they know they're in the area. I don't really know. I don't know why they don't tell you, but like the city can't divulge to me for whatever reason if they even caught the coyotes in my area.
Well, I don't think
Mr. Burrow, can you add to this? Because you have the data on what they've caught so far.
So, obviously, when we catch a coyote, we don't know where it came from. They roam. But yeah, so currently the traps are set in 2 separate locations in Spanish Fork Estates based on complaints. And you're exactly right. We don't divulge the information of where the traps are located because we don't want people messing with the traps. There will be people that go out and find them, and they'll manually set the trap off with a stick or, you know, things like that. So you're exactly right. We don't want you to know where they are for multiple reasons, that being the main one.
Was it in Spanish Fork State that you caught one recently?
We've caught several, yes.
In Spanish Fork States?
There's only 2 trapping locations currently, and they're both in Spanish Fork State.
Okay, I mean, if that gives you an idea of how bad the problem is, they just said they caught several of them.
So one of the things we talked about in work session today, Mr. Burrows, you may want to add to this from the attractant standpoint, and then also setting the traps close to homes, just so he and the public knows as well.
So the trapping is, basically it's a sensory attractant that's used. There's nothing for the coyote to eat or anything like that. They smell something, they go to it, and they're in the trap. These traps are set in large wooded areas intentionally because we don't, obviously we have a coyote problem. We don't want to attract the coyote near anybody's house. So simply because you don't see a USDA truck near your house, or they don't come knocking on your door asking if they can put a trap in your yard, doesn't mean that there's not one nearby. So we also don't want a group of kids roaming through the woods to accidentally step in a trap. So there's a lot of reconnaissance that goes into it. They're not just indiscriminately thrown out in the woods either. Myself, as well as our representative from the USDA, have spent several hours roaming through the woods, looking for ideal places to set them so that we can, you know, maximize efficiency.
I think also tracking coyotes as far as, you know, tracks and those kind of things, patterns, and where to best place those. So it is something that's been done in the past, and it's obviously an agenda item tonight, but I do appreciate you coming
Yeah, sure enough.
to share your story again.
Thanks, guys.
All right, anyone else for public participation tonight? We will close public participation. We've got a few announcements tonight. First, we're going to be swearing in a new police officer. Chief, Judge, Officer Threat.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States of America.
police officer faithfully and honestly to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations.
Be real quick. So, very proud of this young man. Spanish Fort resident, product of the high school. The first person the Spanish Fort Police Department in 30 years has ever sent to a police academy. We all came from other agencies. This is a homegrown man. To the family, you did an outstanding job with him. Mobile Police Academy has had 80 police academies. He's the 80th one. There's awards you get in the police academy: highest academics, best shooter, physical fitness. He didn't get any of those awards. What he did get is a Chiefs Award for the most outstanding recruit in his class for all 3 categories in exhibition of the leadership and all of the qualities of a police officer. The first time in 80 police academy classes has a non-mobile police officer gotten that award. I can tell you that's a significant thing. Talks about the quality. The quality of this young man. We are excited to have him here. We have had these other ceremonies. We rewarded our officers for all their seniority, their experience. Here we are with a young man. We hope that he spends a career here. I hope that hopefully long after I'm gone, maybe he's the guy that's up here swearing in a new police officer 20 years from now, 30 years from now. So we wish you luck, Aaron.
So congratulations again, Aaron. We're excited to have you here. Sorry, again, last week I couldn't be there for your graduation, but we're excited. I know you still got a little training to do here on the streets, but glad to have you to be back in the community you grew up in and have already given a lot to. You'll be giving a whole lot more, so we're excited about it. Thanks again. Yeah. Councilman Gustafson has come down. We're going to recognize our outgoing junior city council. So those of you that are here tonight, I've seen some of you guys. Would you all come up front, please? So we've got some stuff for you guys. If y'all want to line up first, we've got Anaya McPherson. Thank you so much. Kate Peden. Ella Bradley. Millie Cross. And Grace Thorpe. And then Layla Pate and Peyton Cox couldn't make it tonight. We appreciate you guys for the year you guys spent representing the city. Y'all have thrown some of y'all's own events. I think one of the biggest events, the biggest hits, was the time you guys spent with our seniors, going over some communication things with them as far as how to use social media and be on the lookout for, rogue actors that are trying to get them to do things they shouldn't. But you guys, we got a ton of great feedback from that, so we appreciate all you guys do. Good luck in all your future endeavors. Mr. Gustafson, I don't know if you have anything you want to add.
I want to say that every year this gets harder and harder because the groups just keep getting better and better. And this group of ladies, now, like I say, Peyton and Layla are not here, but outstanding students. These are Spanish Fort excellence. These are the students that will come, hopefully, will come back and lead us in our city. So by them learning about their city, how their county and how their state works, this right here is our future. So my congratulations to these ladies in the Junior City Council and the one that we'll be recognizing here shortly, coming in to follow their footsteps.
So Judge Rose, we've got double duty tonight. So we're also going to swear in our new Junior City Council. This was a process of interviews that they all did outstanding at. Again, I think we had, Carl, what, a dozen or so applicants, and we narrowed that down to 7. And everybody that put in and applied were outstanding. They were all great kids. It was very, very tough to narrow it down. As I call your name tonight, if you guys would come up and we'll get you guys sworn in for the next year. Allison Few. Bella Burnett. David Hughes. Garrett Richardson. Isabella Wilkinson. Lucy, I think, is out tonight, correct? Oh, she's here. Okay, perfect. I thought she was going to be gone. And then McKenna Bailey. So Judge Rose is going to swear you guys in. We've only got one Bible, so y'all got to get close and friendly.
All right, if y'all will just repeat after me, and when I say state your name, not state your name. All right, I state your name. Sorry, raise your left hand. There you go. I state your name. Solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of Alabama, so long as I continue a citizen thereof, and that I will faithfully and honestly discharge the duties of the office of Junior City Council Member upon which I'm about to enter, faithfully and honestly, to the best of my ability, so help me God. Congratulations.
So we're excited for you guys to get started as the school year kicks off. I know some of you guys know the outgoing council, so it'll be great to have them to lean on, because I think most of you guys still have one more year of school left as well. But we look forward for you guys making this the best junior city council, no offense guys, that we've had to this point. I think with all of the talented folks that put in and applied, it was great this year. We have folks from schools outside of just Spanish Fort, or they attend schools outside of Spanish Fort. We've got some homeschool students as well. So just the diversity of folks. It's also great to see two males that put in that were also very well qualified. I think we've only ever had, one on the council at a time. Yeah, so to see the interest from the males wanting to get involved. So that's great too. So we look forward to you guys representing the city in a great way, and the ideas y'all will bring to the Junior City Council as well. So thank you guys so much. All right, thank you guys. A few more announcements. Spanish Fort Public Library still has time to sign up for our summer reading. Families are invited to the big show on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. featuring free entertainment and fun for all ages. The library will also celebrate America's 250th birthday with a special Hamilton Trivia Night on June 24th, followed by a Hamilton Watch Party, which will include karaoke, a costume contest on June 26th from noon to 4. Myself, I've got an 11-year-old at home that is obsessed with Hamilton, so I'm sure she's going to be here and begging for a costume. There'll also be refreshments provided by Lad Drago Estate Farm, Cheryl's Cafe, the Groovy Goat, and the Spanish Fort Fire Department, and Friends of the Spanish Fort Library. In addition, we'd also like to invite you out to Sonic on June 25th for a special fundraising night from the Spanish Fort, Friends of the Spanish Fort Public Library from 5 to 8 p.m. All right, looking at old business first tonight, we have a public hearing on ordinance number 738, 2026. Mr. Connor?
Mayor, this ordinance is an ordinance of changing the zoning classification of certain property located at 11699 U.S. Highway 31 from R1 Single Family Residential District to M1 Light Industrial District. The property came into the city under the annexation through a local legislative act and was zoned R1. The property owner has requested that the property be rezoned to M1 Light Industrial District for the purpose of one of two purposes. One was for automobile use, service, those types of maintenance opportunities, or to allow for the expansion of Waste Pro onto their property subject to a lease. A public hearing was held by the Planning Commission on May 11, 2026, and the Planning Commission forwarded a positive recommendation to rezone the property to B4 Major Business District. The zoning ordinance allows for the City Council and or Planning Commission to either make a recommendation or rezone the property to a more restrictive classification than requested by the applicant, and the Planning Commission forwarded a recommendation that it be rezoned to B4. A copy of the legal description of the property is attached as Exhibit 1, as well as a map showing the relationship of the property to neighboring properties and the corporate limits of the City of Spanish Fort. And it's subject to public hearing tonight at this meeting.
All right, thank you, Mr. Connor. At this time, we'll open the public hearing for ordinance number 738, 2026. Like earlier, if you'd approach the podium, state your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak. Public hearing is now open.
Hello, good evening. My name is Michael Lee.
State your name and your address.
Yes, ma'am. Michael Lee. I live in 57 Speckled Trail Route in Spanish Fort. This is my wife, Jennifer Lee, over here. We've owned that property for several years, and it stated that kind of got changed while we weren't aware. And we're asking for the M1 versus the B4 because of the reasons stated. Currently, to the west of us, Waste Pro is at that location, and I believe it's currently an R1, but I do believe that would get the light industrial designation. And then to the east of us, there's a sawmill. And I believe that would also get the same M1 designation if we go, once they come to the council. And in the future, when we go to sell this property, I do feel like it's going to be difficult to sell it at possibly a lower range. I'm not complaining about those other businesses, but they have their own problems. As Waste Pro, sometimes there's a mild smell coming from there. A sawmill, there's a sound from there. So I think for the future purposes, this property is going to be used more of a light industrial versus the B4. I don't know that, but that's why we're here. And that's why we're asking for the M1 versus the B4. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lee. All right, anyone else for the public hearing tonight for ordinance number 738, 2026? All right, we'll close the public hearing. Council, any discussion around this agenda item, ordinance number 738, 2026?
I will say that the Planning Commission forwarded a recommendation to rezone it to B4 rather than M1. And I know in our work sessions we've had some discussion about that area being more of a transition towards residential, and whether or not B4 would even be acceptable or wouldn't be restrictive enough. And you know, there were comments made to even restrict it down to a B3, just based on the fact that across the street you've got the dollar store there would be B3, and then other businesses just to the west of that would be classified as B3. It is true that the sawmill and the Waste Pro site wouldn't be allowed. They were annexed in as well as an R1. They're non-conforming now. As we consider this, I guess what we need to consider is what we want that area to be. If it's transitioning to residential, there are certain things that are allowed in a M1 and even in a B4 that could be problematic, including by right, I believe, an automobile service station or other uses where the use would be restricted if within 100 feet of a residential district even. So that becomes problematic, being if it's on the edge of a residential zoning. So I don't know. I think I'm considering personally that lot might be more appropriately zoned to a B3. It's just my thoughts.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Anyone else?
B3 would also be, I tend to agree with Councilman Smith that I'm looking at this being a transition area, and I'm really, my biggest concern is its proximity, not only across the street to the Dollar General, which is also a B3, lending consistency, but my bigger concern is just up the road, you've got Churchill, and all of those people and those homes over there, just really look and have some concerns on what that does to the property values. They're putting such an intense use so close to a residential area. And so therefore I agree with the sentiments that Kurt has mentioned on that.
What has this property been used for in the past?
It's currently we have it rented out right now. We have parking cars up here that have been placed on rentals.
As I mentioned in the work session, if you turn into Spanish Fort Estates from 31, you've got 2 gas stations, and those are zoned B3. And if I've got somebody new coming to my house or somebody from out of town, I will drive them up 225. I do not want them coming in between 2 gas stations. I know what it's like. I know it is devaluing the property inside, those first several houses inside of Spanish Fort Estates. I feel for you not realizing that it was an R1 when you purchased it. I apologize, I don't apologize. But it does devalue the residential property around it, and if we've got to stop some of that at some place. So I talked about going B3 simply because I know what it's like to drive between 2 B3s to get to my house. And I don't like it, but I could take a B3 over a B4.
Yeah, and I will say, to be fair, I believe they purchased it when it was still a county before it was annexed into the city. So it was brought in, it was annexed in as R1. So, and that's a hard, I'm looking you in the eye. I know that's hard. Yeah. So I do understand that, and I feel badly about it. I do know that it's our obligation, though, to shape the city and to zone appropriately, and that to the east of Jesse Road does seem to be going more B3 and residential, just in nature at this time.
Well, that's what I was trying to get at. In the past, has it ever been used for anything that would approach M1?
No, we can, but there's a lot of folks that are probably watching at home just so they can hear you too.
So what I was saying just now was that directly to our east is a sawmill, And I believe if they come to the council, y'all are going to give them the M1. I don't think they're going to be a B3. And directly to our west is a business that's been there for many years, Waste Pro, and that's, as far as I understand in our meetings, this is another M1. So that is all the area to the east of Jesse Road, and we're right between those that I believe are going in M1. Correct me if I'm wrong, please.
I think if the ultimate decision here is to not give you M1 on this piece of property, but to give you some classification that's more restrictive, I think the statement that the council is making is that they view that as a transition area moving toward Churchill and the other areas. You're citing the sawmill to the east and the Waste Pro property directly to your west, but just south of your property is where the Dollar General is, and those areas, and those are B3, followed just to the south of that by residential. There's residential to the north of you, there's residential to the east of you, and some of the discussions that were had, was it Jesse? That Jesse Road is probably the line, because there is M1 to the west of that, but from that point forward was a discussion that they may decide that they don't want to have that going forward. So if the sawmill comes and asks for M1, they're not likely to get M1. If Waste Pro comes and asks for M1, they're not likely to get M1. They will be allowed to continue those uses as non-conforming uses. But if they're either abandoned or they stop using them, then they will not be allowed to establish those again. So basically what the Planning Commission was said, and I think what you're hearing tonight, is that that area is in transition away from M1, more toward a general business type area. So.
All right, as long as I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to hold you to that they're not going to get an M1 because the transition zone.
What I'm telling you is I think that's what I'm hearing tonight from what they're saying. I don't get to vote. I'm just telling you what the Planning Commission and then said. You know, there's a transition that's happening there, and it makes sense that from what they're saying. Who knows what happens 25, 30 years from now? But I don't see this council turning you down for M1 this week and giving them M1 next week.
Well, is the sawmill, they're not M1 now, are they?
So they're, after annexation, everything was brought in as R1. Once they were brought inside the city after annexation, while it was unzoned in the past. So it's R1. Where they're at now is R1. They have not come to the city and asked for anything else.
If you flip that discussion around, if they gave you M1, then they'd be hard-pressed to turn down the sawmill and hard-pressed to turn down Waste Pro. By not giving you M1, they're establishing what they say the zoning is in that area, so that any other applications that come would have to justify why they should go to a different classification once they establish the zoning for that area.
All right, thank you.
But my feeling on an M1, because you're not presenting a plan for an M1 business to go into that spot. It'd make it easier for you to sell to anyone if you had M1. So I think it'd be,
I got your argument, and that was the argument I knew you were going to bring up, is that, well, if we would have had a business in there right now that was an M1, then maybe we would have got the zoning, or y'all wouldn't kick them out of there, right?
Yeah.
That's not the route we're going. I mean, we're trying to do it the right way.
Just to clarify that, they would be if the council took the same position and there was already an existing business there, they'd be allowed to continue that use as a non-conforming use. But it doesn't mean that they would give them M1. That they would manage that area as a non-conforming use, and then when that use was over, it wouldn't be allowed to be continued there.
So would it have changed if I'd have put a mechanic in there or some other M1 business in there instead of what I have right now?
You can't put anything in there at this point in time.
I could have rented it because
that doesn't comply with the zoning ordinance.
Well, let's say if I had rented it, he asked me what the use was. Say if I'd leased this out to another business that was M1, just like the sawmill or Waste Pro, they would be able to continue in that zone, right?
Or let's say that he found somebody who wanted to buy that property and then turn it into something that needed a higher designation. Would that be an appropriate time to come to us and ask for a rezoning?
No, because it's
Let me clarify one quick thing. I think to your question, at the time it was annexed in, if the use was non-conforming. If it was an M1 use at that time, it would be allowed as a non-conforming use, just as Waste Pro and the sawmill are now allowed, but only as a non-conforming use, because that was what was happening at the time of the annexation. Am I saying that right, Mr. Conrad?
Yeah, I think you are, and I think the answer to, I want to make sure we're clear about your question. If the property had been being used for an M1 use when it was annexed 3 years ago, whenever it was, like Waste Pro or like the sawmill, then it would be allowed to continue as a non-conforming use. But you can't go there now and lease the property to someone for an M1 use and then come in and say, hey, I should get an M1 use. Does that make sense? It would have had to be used for that purpose prior to the annexation and prior to having zoning placed on it.
Yeah, I got what you're saying. I'm just saying I could have accidentally leased it to someone that is an M1 right now, and here I'd be sitting here and I would answer your question. Yes, I have someone that is an M1 using it right now, and y'all would have told me, yes, you can continue to use it as an M1.
If you had accidentally done that and came in here and misled us, that'd be fraud.
I wouldn't be misleading you. I'm just saying, I put somebody in there that's a B1 or 2 right now. That, you know what I mean? I did. If I'd have put somebody in with an M1.
You can't, if the use, just because you leased a piece of property, it has not been used for that purpose, doesn't make it legal. It has to be being used for that purpose, if that makes sense.
Time of annexation.
Yeah. If Waste Pro had leased the property from you 4 years ago and had trucks out there and been using it at the time it was annexed, then yeah, they'd be allowed to continue the use. But that property is unimproved and has not been used for any purpose at this point in time. So you couldn't by leasing it now create a non-conforming use, if that makes sense.
So auto repair, that would not be conforming to B4, right? It would be B4?
There's several.
I think it would.
Yeah.
Just so we're clear, the zoning application as submitted asked for M1, if I'm not mistaken now, we have a lot of applications come, and if I get this wrong, please correct me. It requested M1 and for the purpose of automobile repair service, something to do with automobile repairs. Okay. Okay. And that's fine. And so the first thing that the Planning Commission and City Council do is not to try and figure out a way to say no, but it's to try and figure out a way to say yes. And so your use of an automobile use is allowed in B3 with Planning Commission approval. The zoning ordinance says automobile and truck, this is in B3, automobile and truck service, and the Planning Commission also it's allowed by right in B4 with Planning Commission approval in B3. So you can do this in a B3 zoning classification with Planning Commission approval. Automobile and truck service station, including minor repair, subject to the requirements listed under special provisions, where the primary function is retail sale of gas, oil, grease, tires, batteries, and accessories, and where services are limited to installation of the items sold, washing, polishing, tire changing, greasing, and minor repairs, but not including commercial wrecking, dismantling, and auto salvage yard, major mechanical overhauling or body work. Fuel pumps need not be enclosed within a structure. So there's a lot of repair work, mechanics, oil changes, all those kind of things that you can do in B3. And I think the intention of the Planning Commission and City Council was to, look at the application and routinely, sometimes, not routinely, but sometimes we'll have people say, hey, I want to do this and I want M1. Well, you can do that in a more restrictive classification. So what they've done is to try to give you basically what you ask for, which is automobile repair, service maintenance, but put it in the classification that works in that area. And so that was why the Planning Commission recommended B4, but this use for automobile and so forth is allowed in B3. So there's a lot of uses that you can do in B3 that are not, that would be allowed in M1, but there's a lot of uses in M1, such as a concrete mixing plant in M1, or other things that might let off dust and noise and things that the neighbors might be a little more concerned about. But there's a lot that you can do in B3 that would make that property very, very marketable. And depending on how they vote tonight, that option might be one of those that's not available to you. But there are a lot of options that would be in either a B3, a B4, or other business district. Now, whether or not there could be, and there's been some discussion about that, about expanding and dividing the M1 district to allow for some more uses in B3 and B4. It may be that when the comprehensive plan comes forward and they amend, they're going to do some amendments. And one of the things that we've talked about is because of all the uses in M1 that are negative, that people don't like about that classification, maybe if we split M1 up into M1, M2, M3, or maybe we create a B5 and a B6 that allows for some more intense uses, but not the intense uses in M1, like a concrete mixing plant or dust and those kind of things. Put those in a different classification and open up more things that might be allowed, like Waste Pro. If in a future amendment to the zoning ordinance, we create a classification that gives the protection to the neighboring properties, but allows a use that you're proposing, you can come back and ask for a rezoning at that time. Like I said, the comp plan is going to be worked on. There's going to be amendments to the zoning ordinance. So it may be that an opportunity is created for you at a later date with a different zoning classification other than M1. At this point in time, this does give you a lot of opportunity. Again, I don't know how they're going to vote, but B4, B3, and other business does give a lot of opportunity and marketability for that property. Just not that particular use at this time, although that may become available depending on how the zoning ordinance is.
Well, let's say that we vote for B3 tonight, and then 6 months down the line, Waste Pro presents them with an offer to purchase that, and we can't rezone it then for Waste Pro to use it as part of their facility?
You can always come back and revisit and rezone the property at that point in time. If you decide that the area has changed and it's going to be more M1 in the future, you can certainly come back and rezone.
Well, Waste Pro is kind of a critical component to our city. I mean, if they needed the space to expand, it seems like we would be willing to hear it.
Absolutely. It's up to the council's discretion to hear any application.
The only thing I would add to that is, Waste Pro is going to be very hesitant about coming to buy that property and waiting 4 or 5 months for us to get possible approval. Thank you, guys.
What does Waste Pro want to do with your piece of property?
I have not personally spoken to him. It's about my real estate agent.
Okay.
They have talked to him about possibly purchasing that. It's under lease agreement.
So there is a Waste Pro employee here tonight. I don't know if he wants to speak about this or not.
Yeah, we can. I was actually going to introduce myself after. Listen, I think you've kicked it around right based on. I don't know if
Would you
this is-
mind stating your name?
Yeah.
Just for the record, sorry. You hit the button again.
Jordan Scott with Waste Pro, and I don't know if this is lucky or unlucky to show up tonight just to say hello, but no, we've kicked it around. Obviously, it's right there. I don't think we've really known who is on it, right? So as we grow, I think it's always a possibility. Are we there right now? No, but could we be in the future? Maybe, but I think we would follow the proper steps to make that happen for sure. So.
All right. Thank you, Jordan. Anybody have any other questions for Jordan while he's?
By the way, Waste Pro is doing
Okay.
a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a stretch, but if in the back of your mind, you're thinking of using this particular property to clean your trucks, sell gas or pump gas, do oil changes, change out batteries and all that kind of stuff, that could be done on this piece of property and leave the trucks parked at the end of the day and as the laydown yard on your current piece of property. So there is a way for all this to potentially happen. I don't know. It's a stretch, but it's depending on how you plan to use the
Right now,
property.
today, we're perfectly fine, but what does it look like in 5, 3, 2? I don't know, right? Lord willing, we continue to grow, and this is a conversation that I need to have in a little bit. But today, as it stands, we're perfectly good where we are, and I'll make sure he has my information before we leave here. And if he needs us, he knows where to find me.
And I guess that begs the question. Are y'all actively seeking to lease the neighboring property?
No, sir. No. Now the only person that's really asked me about it is I have a repair guy who does my cans for me in my Mobile yard, who has asked could he use that yard in the past, but things that we just talk about. I don't know that it's got any legs to
So
it.
you don't necessarily need that property today?
I don't know, sir. Today I don't. Lord willing, in a few years we will. So. He does dumpster repair for me, but I've got it on my mobile yard because it's got a little more room. I don't know if you guys go by there in the evening, but it's pretty tight, so we don't have a ton of room over there right now. So we've kicked it over to my mobile yard to do some dumpster repair.
All right, anything else for Jordan? Thanks,
you, guys.
Jordan. Thank you, Mr. Lee, as well. Any further discussion from the council? Mr. Connor?
Mayor, depending on the approach, if you decide to, someone decides to make a motion to approve the resolution as drafted, to rezone it to M1, then all you have to do is make a motion to approve the resolution. If someone wants to suggest a more restrictive classification, then you would need to make a motion to amend ordinance number 738, 2026, to say that it would be rezoned from R1 to B3. And then if the amendment passes, then after the amendment passes, you would make a motion to approve. So if you want to approve it going to M1, that's how it's drafted because that's how the application was submitted. It would just be a motion to approve. If you want to do a more restrictive classification, then it would be a motion to amend the ordinance to state throughout the ordinance that it would be amended or changed to B3 General Business District.
All right, thank you, Mr. Connor. Any further comments from the council? All right, do I have a motion to either approve or amend ordinance number 738, 2026?
Motion to amend ordinance 738, 2026. Motion to rezone from R1 to B3.
Second.
All right, roll call, Ms. Nance.
Smith,
Yes.
Gustafson,
Yes.
Ramsey,
Yes.
Wynn,
Yes.
Rabner,
Yes.
Mayor Bass.
Yes. The motion to amend ordinance number 738, 2026 has passed. Do I have a motion to approve the amendment of the ordinance to change the classification from R1 to B3?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Ms. Nance.
Smith,
Yes.
Gustafson,
Yes.
Ramsey,
Yes.
Wynn,
Yes.
Rabner,
Yes.
Mayor Bass.
Yes. The amendment and zoning change from R1 to B3 is approved. Next, we'll have a public hearing on ordinance number 739, 2026. Mr. Connor?
Mayor, this is a proposed ordinance amending the plan unit development master plan and narrative and exhibits for the Longleaf development. This development master plan was approved some months ago, and it came to the council and planning commission's attention that in order to get the golf course open and allow for some construction that needs to take place regarding the clubhouse, that they need to have some temporary uses for the golf cart facility as well as a pro shop. They're also going to convert the home that's presently on there to a model home as a vision center for the site. This would amend the PUD narrative to allow for a temporary use on the last approximately 6 lots of the subdivision to allow for golf cart storage and distribution upon playing in a clubhouse, a temporary use for a pro shop. That use would be allowed through July 31 of 2028. Then all of those items or temporary uses would be moved to the permanent club site as depicted on the master plan on A8 map as attached. Then they would be allowed to have that temporary use during the construction of the permanent clubhouse through December 31, 2031. After the completion of the clubhouse, all temporary uses and property would be restored to its original condition, and the property would go forward on the permanent facilities. In addition, they would be required to map out landscaping for 10% of the property that's being cleared and map preservation trees in order to allow as much of the property to remain wooded until it's actually developed or constructed. And then it provides for the construction of cart paths, bridges, restrooms, and other structures to be approved by the planning department and the planning and zoning official unless he determines that a site plan review by the planning commission would be appropriate. The property owner has requested that this be amended in order to allow for those uses, and the Planning Commission held a public hearing on May 11, 2026, and forwards a positive recommendation for this amendment to the PUD master plan.
All right, thank you, Mr. Connor. We'll open the public hearing on ordinance number 739, 2026. All right, public hearing on ordinance number 739, 2026 is closed. Do I have a motion to approve the amendment of ordinance number 739, 2026?
So moved.
Second. Roll call, Ms. Nance.
Smith,
Yes.
Gustafson. Ramsey,
Yes.
Wynn,
Yes.
Brabner,
Yes.
Mayor Bass.
Yes. The amendment of ordinance number 739, 2026 is approved. Next, we'll look at resolution number 1596, 2026. Mr. Connor?
Mayor, this is a resolution authorizing the issuance of a municipal sales and use tax exemption certificate for the Mobile River Bridge and Bayway project. We've been asked, along with Mobile County, Baldwin County, the city of Daphne, and the city of Mobile, to approve a sales and use tax exemption for all materials, equipment, and supplies that will be used in the construction of the Mobile River Bridge and Bayway project. All entities at this point in time have approved of the tax exemption, and if the city council approves this tonight, we'd be the final approval so that these sales and use tax provisions would be exempt from the construction of this project. I think Baldwin County was the last one to approve it, and they did it last Tuesday.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Connor. Do you have any further discussion around resolution number 1596, 2026? All right. Do I have a motion to approve resolution number 1596, 2026?
Make a motion to approve resolution 1596, 2026.
Second.
Roll call, Ms. Nance.
Smith,
Yes.
Gustafson,
Yes.
Ramsey,
Yes.
Wynn,
Yes.
Brabner,
Yes.
Mayor Bass.
Yes. Resolution number 1596, 2026 is approved. Next, we'll look at resolution number 1599, 2026. Mr. Connor?
Mayor, this is a resolution authorizing a cooperative agreement between the City of Spanish Fort and the United States Department of Agriculture, Animal and Plant Health Inspection Services and Wildlife Services for their cooperation and assistance in dealing with certain nuisance animals that are causing problems around the City of Spanish Fort. This is the second type of agreement that's been entered into. You previously entered into a similar agreement with the department to provide services, including trapping and removing of nuisance animals. This will be a new agreement and also authorize a new contractor to come in to assist. A copy of the proposed agreement is attached to the resolution and is up for your consideration tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. Any discussion around resolution number 1599, 2026? Mr. Wynn? Ms. Brabner? Guys? Mr. Burrows, I do appreciate you guys being thorough on this, the work that you guys have done with the wildlife group as well to make sure these are potentially in the right place. I do think we discussed this during work session, but extending the contract out longer so we're not looking at renewing this every 3 to 4 months. So if the contract were to be approved tonight, it would carry over through June of 2027, which I think will be a good thing. So I'll ask now for a motion to approve resolution number 1599, 2026.
Motion to approve resolution 1599, 2026.
Second. Roll call, Ms. Nance.
Smith,
Yes.
Gustafson,
Yes.
Ramsey,
Yes.
Wynn,
Yes.
Brabner,
Yes.
Mayor Bass.
Yes. Resolution number 1599, 2026 is approved. Next, we'll look at resolution number 1600, 2026. Mr. Connor?
Mayor, this is a proposed resolution approving an agreement between the City of Spanish Fort and AWE Learning on behalf of the Spanish Fort Public Library. The proposed agreement is attached as Exhibit 1 and is in the amount of $18,052, I believe it is. And this is to provide learning stations and different software and programs to aid in education programs for those attending the library. In particular, the Friends of the Spanish Fort Public Library, along with the library, has been a sponsor of this, and they've offered to pay half of the cost of this project through their fundraising efforts. And so this is a great example of cooperative spirit between the Friends of the Public Library and the City of Spanish Fort and the Library Board to provide these types of services.
All right, thank you, Mr. Connor. Any discussion around resolution number 1600, 2026?
No, just a thank you to the Friends of the Library again for raising half of this and bringing it to our attention that they needed these. Ms. Reed does a great job, and really appreciate the Friends.
Yes, I want to say, too, it's a great relationship, and it only helps our kids. It gives us opportunities to enhance the library and make it a community place. And so, again, I want to say kudos and thank you to the Friends of the Library with partnering with the city.
No, I agree. I think this is one of the busiest times of year for the library, especially with kids out for the summer. I was here, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, for their programming they had, and I think there were close to 40 kids here with the artists that they had brought in with help through the Friends of the Library. This just goes right along with that, and allowing to add some new computer workstations that the Friends have raised money for will go a long way, I think, to creating more opportunities and activities for kids in the library. Any further discussion? Do I have a motion to approve resolution number 1600, 2026?
Motion to approve Resolution 1600, 2026.
I'll proudly make the second on that one.
All right, roll call, Ms. Nance.
Smith,
Yes.
Gustafson,
Yes.
Ramsey,
Yes.
Wynn,
Yes.
Brabner,
Yes.
Mayor Bass.
Yes. Resolution number 1600, 2026 is approved. New business tonight, resolution number 1601, 2026. Mr. Connor?
Mayor, this is a proposed resolution authorizing the mayor and the police chief to make applications for a Homeland Security grant program. In particular, there are two opportunities to provide for protection of soft targets, crowded places, and for law enforcement Homeland Security operations in the city. In particular, the first grant application, or part of the grant application, subpart, would be for the purchase of a discrete armored vehicle, and then also for digital informational signs to assist with projects and opportunities and activities in the city and to protect those people in interest in during those activities.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. Chief Barber, is there anything you'd like to add? All right, any further discussion around resolution number 1601, 2026?
The thing that makes me happy is there's no match.
So I know if this grant were to get approved, it'll go a long way to helping from public safety here on the, not just in Spanish Fort, but on the Eastern Shore as part of some of the shared responsibilities you guys have with other agencies, which will be a good thing. But there is a timing component on this. So I'd ask you guys, do you have a problem from a suspending the rules standpoint on this one? All right, do we have a motion to suspend the rules tonight on resolution number 1601, 2026?
Motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
Roll call, please, Ms. Nance.
Smith,
Yes.
Gustafson,
Yes.
Ramsey,
Yes.
Wynn,
Yes.
Brabner,
Yes.
Mayor Bass.
Yes. The motion to approve suspending the rules has passed. Any further discussion on resolution number 1601, 2026? Do I have a motion to approve resolution number 1601, 2026?
Motion to approve Resolution 1601, 2026.
Second.
Roll call, Ms. Nance.
Smith,
Yes.
Gustafson,
Yes.
Ramsey,
Yes.
Wynn,
Yes.
Brabner,
Yes.
Mayor Bass.
Yes. Resolution number 1601, 2026 is approved. Next, we'll look at a request for 020 retail liquor license. Mr. Connor?
Mayor, this is basically a transfer request from an operator to a new owner. The property owner that has purchased the property or will be operating the business and the transfer license is Elite Hospitality Group, LLC. The property is located at 5872 Battleship Parkway, and they've requested a 20 retail restaurant liquor license. And the current licensee for the transferee is Pier House Restaurant Bar Orange Beach, Inc., and the new applicant is Elite Hospitality Group, LLC. And everything appears to be in order.
All right, thank you, Mr. Connor. Any discussion around this request for transfer of retail liquor license? All right, do I have a motion to approve the transfer of retail liquor license from Elite Pier House Restaurant located at 5872 Battleship Parkway?
So moved.
Second.
All right, roll call, Ms. Nance.
Smith,
Yes.
Gustafson,
Yes.
Ramsey,
Yes.
Wynn,
Yes.
Brabner,
Yes.
Mayor Bass.
Yes, the request for 20 liquor license is approved. Next, we'll look at ordinance number 741, 2026. Mr. Connor?
Mayor, this is a proposed amendment to the zoning ordinance that would change the zoning classification of certain property located at 7659 Douglas Street from R1 Single Family Residential District to R4 Manufactured Mobile Home District in order to allow for the placement of one manufactured home or mobile home on this property. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on June 8, 2026 and forwards a positive recommendation for this rezoning request. A copy of the legal description of the property is attached as Exhibit 1, along with a map of the property showing its relationship to the surrounding properties and zoning classifications.
All right, thank you, Mr. Connor. And this is the first reading of this ordinance tonight. There will be a public hearing on this one. Any further comments from the council?
Yeah, just real quick, I would love to see a sign posted closer to Highway 31 for this one. That property is so far back there. I think the neighbors closer to the highway need to know about it.
Yeah, I'll get with our planning and zoning staff tomorrow and see. I know we've got extra signs to see about getting one posted there and plenty of time to get the word out for that location. Any further conversations? All right, just like to remind everyone of our regularly scheduled work session and regular meeting on July 6, 2026. In addition, as Mr. Connor mentioned earlier, we will have a special Planning Commission meeting on June 22nd, followed by our June 22nd regularly scheduled work session. Anything else from the council tonight?
Yes, I did want to take the opportunity to remind everybody to get out and vote tomorrow. Tomorrow is our day for the runoff, and so everybody please go out there and exercise your right to vote.
Thank you, Carl. I think turnout historically was low for the primary election. I think it's even worse normally for a runoff. It doesn't look like great weather tomorrow, so I would encourage all of you folks and the ones at home as well to come out to vote. Anything else tonight?
Absolutely.
All right, do I have a motion to adjourn our meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Ms. Nance.
Smith,
I don't know. You want to stay a little longer?
Just keep going, right?
Yes.
It's raining outside.
Gustafson,
Yes.
Ramsey,
Yes.
Wynn,
Yes.
Brabner,
Yes.
Mayor Bass.
Yes, meeting is adjourned.